assert Israeli control over Palestinian land. The Arabic names on signposts crudely erased. Under international law, the Beit Hagla...
Yeah, maybe it was mentioned to me. I'm wrong. I think Crapo was just simply pushing for it.
Settlement is illegal, but last February, the Israeli government officially recognized it along with 8 others, a move the U.S. strongly opposed. We're here because God promised us this land, Azrael Piker tells us. Now these settlers have set their sights on a new prize, one that seemed utterly impossible before October 7th. Returning to Gaza, they cheer. That is the goal of Zionist settler organization Nahalah, one of more than a dozen groups now advocating for the reestablishment of Israeli settlements in Gaza. A recent promotional video even boasts that Gaza will become the next...
Before people say, oh, these guys are just edge cases or whatever, if there's any Israel defenders that remain in this chat, yeah, they're edge cases for now. Okay? And not even, they're not even edge cases at all. Let's be for fucking real. These guys are absolutely fully funded and supported by the Israeli government, okay? And they are totally not like a random group. Many people in Israel simply overlook their mania, but are perfectly fine with them existing. Some hate them for propaganda purposes because they look really bad to the Western world because their actions are insane. Okay? And to say that these guys are like edge cases now is ridiculous when you have Itamar Ben-Gvir, who is like the interior ministry secretary, like the guy who controls like all the police operations, and also Bezalel Smotrich. Things that used to be considered unimaginable become not only manageable, but also the reality in a very short period of time. They're not fringe at all. Okay?
Riviera. Daniela Weiss is the godmother of the movement. She's already started recruiting from the 700,000-strong settler community of Israel. We're just arriving now at a settlement in the occupied West Bank, and we're heading to a talk that Daniela Weiss is giving to a group of people.
Since they're sanctioned and being assisted by the IDF, the sanctions technically extend to the Israeli government. That's per the dude that was on Democracy Now! This morning. Yes. If there was like an actual real interest in applying international law to the situation, then yes, the Israeli government and even the American government would be liable for their actions. These guys are terrorists. What they're doing is settler terrorism. They are violently occupying a space that does not belong to them. And the obvious concept of like peaceful transfer of populations is not a real thing at all. And you see it in the West Bank every fucking day.
People who are potentially interested in resettling Gaza. We are for the land of Israel and Ben-Gvir, she said.
No, they're not squatters. You want to know why they're not squatters? Because squatting is done on unoccupied land. Okay? This is not unoccupied land. You can squat in an abandoned building or a building that is empty or a house that is empty. When you actually, at gunpoint, through hate crimes and harassment backed by the occupying military force, by the way, and defended by the occupying military force, if you get pushed out of your home, kicked out of your home through violent means, through death, destruction of property, and then they come in and build a fucking shitty ass house on top of it, and then live there, you're not actually squatting. What you're doing is settler colonialism. We did it in the United States of America, in the formation of the state that we exist in. We did this to the native populations that lived here before us.
About 20 people gather in the living room of a family home. Weiss knows that for many in this community, there is deep nostalgia for Gush Katif, a block of 21 Israeli settlements that were forcibly evacuated by.
Great question. A chatter said, how does an insignificant country like Israel manage to buy every American politician, yet China and Russia don't? Let's think. It goes back to exactly what I said with the NRA and with all lobbying groups and intentions. It goes back to the same principle behind you cannot lobby the American government to be anti-capitalist. The reason why this insignificant country that's not so insignificant can do this is because Israel, as a state, as a settler occupying entity in a resource-rich region, is very important for American geopolitical interest. That's why Joe Biden has said many, many years ago that if Israel did not exist, we'd build one. We'd make an Israel. Okay? This is why I laugh whenever people go like, oh, there's a Jewish conspiracy here at play. Especially in a country like the United States of America, where there is a shit ton more evangelical Christian Zionists than there are Jewish Zionists. Okay? Israel can only exist in the violent ways that it does because America wills it.
By the IDF in 2005 when Israel left the Gaza Strip. This is the vision of Gaza, she says. You see all the nucleus groups. A map has already been drawn up, with 6 groups laying claim to different parts of the enclave. So they've just been handing out these little booklets that say, People of Israel, return home, and then underneath, a call to return to the settlements of Gaza. One of the organizers tells the group they have a representative flying to Florida to raise money. Nahala gets support from a number of groups in the U.S., including
Florida.
Americans for a Safe Israel.
Like that guy, when he flies to Florida, it's like having an ISIS dude. Okay? It's like having an ISIS dude fly to America to go and get money for ISIS. Okay? It's no different. It is absolutely no different. Okay? He should be arrested. The fuck are you doing? Like, oh, we gave sanctions to like 8 settlers in the West Bank. Sick, man. What about the 100,000 fucking settlers that live in the West Bank that have American passports? When that dude touches American ground, he should be arrested for funding, aiding, and abetting a terrorist group. This is why the concept of terrorism only applies to whoever the fuck we have decided in a very arbitrary manner is our enemy. Okay?
Which co-sponsored a recent webinar on the return to Gush Katif, even as the Biden administration has cracked down on settlements in the West Bank.
There is a very strong support from very prominent, from very, I would say, wealthy people, wealthy Jews.
In the U.S.?
In the U.S.
Can you name any names?
No, I cannot. No.
Back at her home in Kedumim settlement, Weiss tells us she's already enrolled 500 families.
I even have on my cell phone names of people who say, enlist me, enroll me, I want to join. I want to join the groups that are going to settle Gaza.
I have to ask you, though, because we're sitting here talking, and we're listening to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
call
I'm listening
to
to
prayer.
it. I hope you are listening to
Which
it.
is a reminder, I think, of the people who live here, but
Yeah.
also the people who live in Gaza. What happens to them
Okay.
in this vision of this new settlement with Jewish settlers even in Gaza City?
What I think about Gaza, the Arabs of Gaza lost the right to be in Gaza on the 7th of
Okay. Again, no moral consistency here, but like you literally are a fucking settler terrorist. How does a person become like this? Very carefully. Okay. This argument literally can be applied to the entirety of Israel for the Nakba, for the record. It is not one that I subscribe to across the board, but it is certainly the exact same argument that some make. Ridiculous.
October. Yes, I do hear the mosque. I do hear the prayer. Things were different until the 7th of October.
No, they weren't. You were still fucking operating. You're an opportunist who is utilizing the 7th of October to keep pushing your fucking bloodthirsty agenda.
By speaking about more than 2 million Arabs, they will not stay there. We, Jews, will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
Okay.
That is ethnic cleansing, Clarissa.
The Arabs want to annihilate the state of Israel. So you can call them monsters. You can.
By the way, CNN had an article about this monster, and it was named "The Grandmother That Wants Israelis to Return to Gaza: Genocide Apology of Freaks."
You can call them cleansing of Jews. We are not.
It's always so funny. It's like pure projection. Literally pure projection packaged. It's like, hey, we're not doing ethnic cleansing right now. You know who actually wants to do ethnic cleansing? The Arabs, which we have to ethnically cleanse before they do ethnic cleansing to us. That is basically at the heart of every fucking ultra-Zionist arguments. It's so frustrating to have this conversation while tens of thousands of Palestinians have been ethnically cleansed. Millions have been forcibly displaced. Their homes turned to fucking dust. It's like, don't look at that. That's preemptive ethnic cleansing before we get ethnically cleansed.
Doing to them. They are doing.
It's pure fascism, by the way. Like, it's the, what do you think the fucking Nazi argument was? Like, straight up, what do you think they were saying? They had to justify it. They had to propagandize it. Existing anti-Semitic tendencies already were very prominent in Germany. Okay. But having said that, there were justifications for it. And these were the justifications. These were the exact same justifications. This is at the heart of every fascist movement. People, I think, like, because of our black, white, good, evil understanding of the world, people always want this comfortable narrative like, oh no, the Nazis were bad because they're bad. Yeah, they are bad. Except bad people also are obviously going to propagandize their position. Okay? This is why there are entire fields of study dedicated to genocide, specifically the Holocaust. Okay? To perfectly map out the exact steps that were taken to get an entire population on board with ethnic cleansing. I think people have a very oversimplified understanding of how this shit works. Like, oh yeah, the Nazis were bad. They're all bad, which they were. Okay. And that's it. They don't even think about like how they were able to push this narrative. Many of them genuinely fucking believed that if we don't ethnically cleanse the Jews, they're going to ethnically cleanse us. A modern version of this fascist argumentation exists in a contemporary American politics, as a matter of fact. Okay? exact same terminology is still used and deployed by the reactionary right on a daily fucking basis. We don't say that Jews are deliberately trying to bring in immigrants into this country with open borders policies, except when I say we don't say that, we do say that. Elon Musk did say that. He did actually say the great replacement is happening. So I guess we are kind of saying that now. Bro, I cannot understand how you can come on twitch.tv and be like, why does this sped still have a voice on this trash can platform? You're a sped. Are you on the spectrum? Yo, sped, please shut the fuck up. Like, you're on Twitch, brother. What the fuck are you? How are you going to do ableism on Twitch? Ableism from like, ableism that is like 2008 terminology too. Are you okay? Did you learn a new word? Did you learn a new word, little baby? Oh, big baby. He learned a big new word. How about you learn to read, dog? I like that he was like, let me confirm first. Are you on the spectrum? Fucking own, dude. He got me. Anyway, literal child, go do your homework. I mean, I don't think this is, I don't, I think the saddest part is I don't know if this is a child. It's either a child that just learned sped as a new word and is like deploying it critically, like I deploy the top of the hour ad break, or this is a very old person who is from a time when people used to use sped. As you guys know, there is a what is it, a treadmill of euphemisms and pejoratives, and it's no longer deployed. Sped is special education. Like he's saying, he's trying to the euphemism treadmill. Sorry. Shortened version of special education. He's trying to say the R word. Without saying the R word. Sped is a solid ableist slur. I use it from time to time, but it's only good funny when used in moderation. The key to using slurs is moderation, in my opinion. You don't have to admit that. Anyway. It is pretty funny, though. It is actually pretty funny to use it on Twitch. Like, bro, you are on Twitch. You are on Twitch using the term sped. It's like the largest self-report of all time. Like, you have to have at least like, you have to be 4 levels deep in autism to even find this platform, be an active user of it, find the fucking political commentator on the platform to go type in his goddamn chat. You know what I mean? Like, who are you doing ableism to? Girl. Anyway. How come on now? Did nothing to catch strays here? I mean, there's nothing wrong with, being autistic. It's just really funny to be on the platform of autism to be like, you're freaking autistic, dog. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, what do you mean? This is a platform full of neurodivergency. You are most likely also neurodivergent. Anyway. I also did hit the 3-minute ad break button, but I segued it in so perfectly that many of you didn't even notice, by the way. So I'm going to rehash that real quick. At the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. If you no longer want to see those ads, all you need to do is subscribe for $5 or for free. Okay, you can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
To us, I couldn't make it clearer when I said that myself, as a person who is preoccupied with settling the land, until the 7th of October, I didn't have plans of returning to Gaza. It's clear, I'm not interested in cleansing.
What is clear is that Weiss's views, traditionally seen as extreme in Israel, have become more popular since October 7th. In late January, jubilant crowds packed an auditorium in Jerusalem for the Victory of Israel conference, calling for the resettlement of Gaza. A poll that month from the Jewish People Policy Institute found that 26% of Israelis advocate the reconstruction of the Gush Katif settlements after the war is over. Among supporters of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's right-wing coalition government, that number jumps to 51%. Several ministers were present at the conference, including far-right Heritage Minister Amihai Eliyahu. In a
God. Take it up with Hamas, buddy. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Is it like just like this level of Israel defense immediately signals that you're the grossest piece of shit to me? And I don't know if it's like that people become ugly both inside and out as a consequence of this defense, or if they just like they're self-selecting. They're ugly inside and out, so they're like, this is my movement. Could you explain what this watermelon thing is? Pro-Palestine Twitter, but why watermelon symbology? The colors represent the Palestinian flag. It was a way to get around TikTok bans, allegedly. Personally, I think this is a conspiracy. When books are written about this era, these are the two people who will be vindicated. I'm just going to be really honest. It's hard to not be intensely resentful at watermelon Twitter and the tsunami of bullshit, threats, and personal attacks that have been sent my way in the last 5 months. But valid anger does not necessarily lead to valid analysis. And I need to stop engaging so much on a subject that is increasingly non-productive. Oh my God, please stop engaging so much on a situation that you don't know anything about, that you're literally just trying to fucking play catch up with from the worst point. I know she's not going to stop. I'm pissed off and swinging back, and it's not going anywhere. When history books are written about this era, Palestine and this division is going to be understood to be the end of the cannibal progressive era of American politics. I see this clearly. Many of you don't yet, but in 5 years you will. I genuinely think that she's just basically saying that, you know, we are absolutely fucking moving towards fascism, and America will be like full tilt fascist. It's important to remember that it is likely that a lot of the social media activity is orchestrated, paid for, and fabricated by Iran, but a lot of it is real idiots falling for it too. I will continue to thank you for your tireless efforts. The last 5 months have been super hard for me. All of this so she get 2.5% when she runs for Congress again. October 7 did change American politics forever, but not for the reasons you think. Check. It exposed the rot of anti Semitism that had been festering in leftist circles people like me had ignored. It showed who was more interested in burning down America than achieving leftist policy objectives. It showed which pundits actually understood complex geopolitical issues and who was misleading their audience. It showed that a terrifying number of leftist Americans will support literal terrorists if they target Jews. And it showed that while we will never agree with Republicans on deeply divisive cultural issues, their moderates are more committed to democracy than our extremists. So maybe we should try talking to them more. I can't even get mad at her. She's so fucking stupid. Like, this is a person that needs to have post-it notes telling them to manually breathe, okay? Like, the level of stupidity is I think, more entertaining at this point than it is fucking frustrating. What the fuck? Why are we still reading Brianna Wu tweets? This is the definition of zero head. Brianna's content on Twitter now is just posting her death threat messages. It's odd, like she wants more. She low-key calling you out. Yeah, dude. It's one of those things where it's just so fucking stupid. It's one of those things that's so stupid that, like, I genuinely don't know how to respond to it. You know what I mean? 10-minute correct lecture on ableism that mocks people about post-it notes and stupidity. What the fuck? Yes, dude. Obviously, ableism is wrong. Okay. But how the fuck am I supposed to say when someone is stupid? Like, what do you mean? That's insane, brother. When someone's dumb as fuck, you got to be able to call them out. You know what I mean? Anyway, YouGov did a poll on Hamas support among pro-Palestine supporters, a thread. Being sympathetic to the Palestinians does not equate support for Hamas. Only 11% of those who say they sympathize with more of the Palestinian side of the conflict are favorable of Hamas, compared to 77 who hold an unfavorable view. I guess I'm a 11% harm reductionist at this point. Attitudes: sympathize more with Palestinian side. Have favorable view of Hamas. Oh, this is Britons. Have an unfavorable view of Hamas, 77%. Opinion: sympathize more with the Palestinian side. Say October 7 attacks were justified, 14%. Say the October 7th attacks were not justified, 70%. Middle East peace: expelling Jews. Support expelling Jews from the region, 11%. Oppose expelling Jews from the region, 79%. Middle East peace, two-state solution. Support a two-state solution, 83%. Oppose a two-state solution, 8%. Sympathy for the Israeli side. Have at least some sympathy for the Israeli side of the conflict, 44. Have no sympathy for the Israeli side of the conflict, 51. This is British. These are Britons. Yeah, by the way, it is pretty funny that supporters of Palestine are less likely to support expelling Jews. Yeah. Like, as far as all Britons, remember, this is the approval of Hamas is low among Britons who sympathize more with the Palestinian side in the current conflict. All Britons, 66% oppose expelling the Jews from the region. As far as people who are supportive and sympathetic to Palestinians, a higher, much higher percentage of people who are sympathetic to the Palestinians oppose expelling Jews from the region. That is so funny. Oh, I mean, it makes so much sense when you know who is pro-Palestinian, obviously, in the conversation. Anyway, let's move on. Britain's be like zero state solution, mate. Fucking hell. How about no states? I don't believe in any states, right? None for the Jews, yeah? And none for the fucking Arabs either. No states. Give it back to the British. Give Palestine back to the fucking Brits, yeah? Brexit means fucking Brexit, love. It's coming home. It's coming home. What's coming home? Israel and Palestine both. Yeah. From the river to the fucking sea, British mandate will be free. How about we settle in Palestine? I need a new condominium. Okay.
Rare interview with Western media, he tells us his political decisions are guided by the Torah. Is there anything about Gush Katif in here?
Yes. Yes.
And that settlements in Gaza are needed to prevent another October 7th.
The language of the land says that wherever there is a Jewish settlement, there will be more security. Doesn't mean there will be absolute security, but there will be more security.
Why would you advocate for something?
500k people on the streets of London several times over the past few months. Chill on the Brit. Hey, please. Yes. No, I'm not. Dude. Come on. I've already defended the British on all of their protests. Come on. I'm
That
memeing.
many would say is illegal, is immoral, is not supported by the majority of Israelis, and is also very harmful to Israel in terms of its international standing.
Why do you think it's immoral to take land from someone who wants to kill me? Why is it immoral to take my land?
Is wild because, like, most of the Palestinian resistance doesn't take it to this extent. There are those who do, right? And you hear about them all the fucking time in American media as they portray all Palestinians as like bloodthirsty monsters. And it's kind of interesting that, like, pro-Israel people get away with this narrative on a regular fucking basis. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's war. It's war. We're taking land in war. Okay. So October 7 is fine then? Like, I don't get it. The fuck do you mean?
Land, which my ancestors lived there, which I've even given up to someone who slaughters, rapes, and murders me. What is more immoral than that?
Netanyahu has called resettling Gaza, quote, an unrealistic goal, and most Israelis agree. But that hasn't stopped scores of IDF soldiers fighting.
I can't watch the Al Jazeera investigation without combing through terms of service violations chatters. I need timestamps for that because obviously this is like going through a lot of TOS.